Hey there everyone, welcome back to YouTube Foundry. I'm Richard. And what we want to do is take a look into how to make better thumbnails for your videos so that you'll have a little bit better success on YouTube. So let's just go into the classroom and look at 4 things that you can do to make better thumbnails. Every single guru or advisor out there is going to tell you that your thumbnail is the first critical thing you've got to get right. It is the thing that grabs people's attention. That thumbnail has got to stand out among a sea of thumbnails that's out there if you want people to pay attention to what your video is and to click on it and then view it. So there are 4 things that we want to think about when we think about our thumbnails, okay? So the first, and let's think of those as the 4 rules of thumbnails. The first rule is build your thumbnail first. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is going to be build a thumbnail that grabs the attention. That's going to have to do with the colors. It's going to have to do with what makes that thumbnail stand out. Number 3, once it stands out and they look at it, it's got to tell something about the video. What is this video about? Why does this video match the search criteria that they put in? Why does this video match the niche that these people are in by what they're interested in? And 4th, you've got to create some curiosity. Why do I watch this video as opposed to watching all the other videos that might be about this topic? What are you telling them in this video that is new or different or unique in the way it's being told? So those are your 4 rules. Let's go look at each rule individually. The first rule is build your thumbnail first, right? So the idea is that the thumbnail should drive the video that you're going to make. Many people will start with they'll go out and just record a video, then they'll come up with a thumbnail that sort of explains the video. Now, that's really not what you want to do because your video can end up being all over the place. Build your thumbnail first. That will focus your thoughts. It'll focus the effort that you put into making that video on the front end. That thumbnail will set the tone, right? And once you've set the tone with the thumbnail, everything else you do after that is all designed to support that thumbnail. Because remember our unicorn viewers, we not only want them to subscribe, and we not only want them to view the video, we want them to view all of the video. So the entire video that you make should be supportive of the thumbnail that you created on the front end. The second item that you want to have, the second rule, is grab people's attention with your thumbnail. What is it about your thumbnail that stands out? What is it that makes your thumbnail jump off the screen, so to speak, among this sea of thumbnails that people are looking at? They type in a topic, they're going to get a whole lot of different options, right? Now, we can talk about SEO later and how you get your video to crop up near the front, but if they're looking at a whole screen full of different videos on the same topic, what makes your video stand out? Is it the color? Is it the image? Is it the quality of the image? What is it that makes it stand out among all the others? So some things you want to think about. First of all, you want bright colors, right? I think bright backgrounds, if it's a different color than anybody else's, it's going to stand out. Everybody else has got a black or brown or tan background. Yours is bright green or bright yellow or something like that. Now, the next thing is the text that you have on the screen. You don't want to have too much text. Generally, there's about a 55-character limit to what you want to use, and we'll talk about that again with rule number 3. But you want your text to stand out. So there's some different color combinations you can use. I like using a red text with a white border. That seems to work very well for me. I've been using that for a while, and that has worked very well for my videos. My last 4 videos all had over 2,000 views on them. I'm really happy with that. My biggest video in the last few months also had the red text with the white border, and so I was very happy with that one. So you want to have text that stands out, jumps off the screen, contrasts well. If the text blends into the screen, if the text is hard to read, if there's too much of it, if it's too small, people aren't going to be able to tell what the video is about. Now, sometimes you may not have any text at all on your video. It may be you in the middle saying, I've seen these videos where they're talking about, right now your videos are only 2 views. Now you can have 100,000 views. And that's all that has is the 2 views and 2,000 views. This is sort of in red. This is in bright green, so it makes it look like it's really successful. And that's all it is. The person in the middle pointing to the 2 things, before and after, and you end up saying, that looks like an interesting video. How do I go from 2 views to 100,000 views? Okay, so that is one option you can do. Make your thumbnail stand out among all the other thumbnails. Now, the best way you can do that is to research and see what other thumbnails are looking like. So let's look at a screen full of a bunch of thumbnails. And here it is. Now, if you'll notice, this one right here, where the arrow is flashing, that one seems to jump off the screen, right? You just kind of, your eye is drawn to it, okay? And so you might think if you're making a video, you want to make a thumbnail that's sort of like that thumbnail, right? So that when people pull up a whole screen full of thumbnails, their eye is drawn automatically to that one. And if you'll notice, that particular video had a lot of views on it, right? Okay, let's move on to number 3. Okay, so rule number 3 says that the thumbnail should match the content of the video. Now, maybe not the whole video entirely. It's hard to capture that in one image. But the thumbnail should, at the very least, match the first 30 seconds of your video. You want to make sure your first 30 seconds or less matches that thumbnail. It answers, not only does it validate that the person clicked on the video and is going to get what they thought they were going to get, but it's going to sort of whet their appetite for even more. So a couple of rules about about the thumbnail. First of all, it should match the first 30 seconds of your video. So look at those first 30 seconds. Once you've done your thumbnail, you want to build your first 30 seconds of the video to match that thumbnail, to sort of whet people's appetite, to sort of say, look, this is a little bit more about what you thought you were getting with the thumbnail. Let me tell you real quickly what we're going to cover in this video. And when you do that, sort of like I did at the beginning, we were going to talk about how to do better thumbnails. My first 30 seconds said there were going to be 4 rules that we're going to look at related to thumbnails. And that is sort of whets the appetite. It gives you a little bit more detail than the thumbnail did, right? But it sort of drew you into that video. So you want to make sure that the thumbnail, you build that, then your first 30 seconds of video are going to match that thumbnail. It affirms to your viewers that they were right in clicking on your video. Now, the next thing you want to do is make sure that any words, I'm checking my notes back here, you want to make sure that any words that you use on that thumbnail are brief. Okay, use a 55 character limit, but if you can do it in less than 55 characters, great. If you can do it with no characters at all, that's even better. I'm not good at that. I have a tough time trying to figure out how to visually create images that don't require some words or explanation. I've got a video where I talked about things that will kill your YouTube channel. And I've got a cartoon that I had AI build for me with 2 cartoon police officers looking over a dead YouTube channel that's on the ground. They got this character that's like a YouTube channel. It's got X's for the eyes. It's kind of cute. But even that, I couldn't help myself. I still had to put some words on the screen, but I didn't put too many words, right? You want to just put a few words, just enough words on that thumbnail to sort of tell people what this video is going to be about. You can expand on that in the first 30 seconds of the video, but again, what's on that thumbnail should grab people's attention, get them in, and tell them a little bit about what the video is going to be about, and then you affirm in the first 30 seconds that, oh, this is in fact what I thought it was going to be, and it's going to be helpful to me. So now let's go look at rule number 4. So the first thing we did, you remember, is we decided we're going to make the thumbnail first, okay? The second thing we did, we said we have to make that thumbnail stand out. We have to make it grab people's attention. The third thing was the thumbnail has to tell something about what the video is going to be about, right? Now the fourth thing is you've got to create curiosity. So the first thing is don't give away everything on the thumbnail. You don't want to tell people with the thumbnail the whole story. If you tell them the whole story with the thumbnail, then they're not going to want to watch the video. They're not going to need to watch the video. You've already given them the information they need. So you don't want to tell the whole story, but you want to somehow draw them in, right? Now, you want to create this curiosity by maybe teasing a surprise. For example, you might say, the 10 things you have to know before you start on YouTube. People say, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I know those 10 things, right? Another thing you might do is you might give them a deal that's too good to resist. You can't pass this up. This is the best deal ever. And that's all you tell them. Well, they're going to want to go into the thumbnail, find out what the deal is, right? Or into the video, find out what the deal is. You've got to do something with the words on that thumbnail, if you're using words, to give them an idea of what's going on, but not give them the whole story. Sort of draw them in a little bit, create a little mystery, right? Remember I told you the thing where you have the videos before I made improvements, number of views after I made improvements. Okay, that's really a cool kind of little video to do, but the question is does that match this criteria? And it actually kind of does. It creates a little bit of intrigue. It sort of creates a little bit of curiosity. Well, what is it that he did to go from 2 views to 100,000 views? What is it that happened there? And so they might want to click on that. So I've done all 4 things. I built my thumbnail first, and then my video is going to be built around that. Particularly the first 30 seconds have to make sure and match what's on that thumbnail. Second, we created a thumbnail with a really robust and shocking background. It grabbed people's attention, right? It stood out among the crowd. Third, we told a little something about what the video is about. It's about before and after, right? And as part of that telling something what it's about, we didn't tell the whole story. We created some curiosity with the thumbnail so that people would want to go see what's there, see what's in the video. We didn't tell them everything up front. Those are the 4 rules you need to know in order to be successful with your thumbnails on YouTube. Now, you can certainly take a master class and go much deeper into that topic if you want to, and really tear it apart and get deep into that. I think a lot of people think that there's a magic formula here. There isn't, but I think those 4 things are things you have to do. You have to do your thumbnail first, you have to grab people's attention, you have to tell them something about what the video is going to be about, and you have to create some curiosity. You do those 4 things with your thumbnails, and you've done a really good job, I think, of creating a thumbnail that's going to help your video to succeed on YouTube. Well, hopefully that was helpful. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel. We also like to see the thumbs up. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell so that when we issue new videos, you'll be sure and be informed that those videos are now available for you to watch. So in the meantime, stay safe, have fun on YouTube. We'll see you real soon on YouTube Foundry.